is the messiest influencer breakup I've ever seen. Hello you gorgeous donuts. Today we're going to be discussing the Ace family situation because it's out of control. For people that don't know, the Ace family were a huge vlogging channel like a few years ago. They were the biggest in the world. It was run by a couple called Catherine and Austin, and they were two of the biggest influencers at the time. They started in 2016 and they basically documented their lives with their children. People loved them because they lived their dream lives. They would often film on a daily basis them doing just certain things with their kids. They also vlogged the birth of their child, which is a little bit extreme. Imagine doing that, like, oh, there we go, it's coming, keep pushing. Like and subscribe, guys. W's in the chat, thank you very much.
Open. Take a deep breath. Push down like if you're underwater. Hold your breath. No. Take a deep breath.
Like, if I'm giving birth, my husband is rubbing me head while smiling and holding a vlogging camera on me face, he's gonna get one of them to the jaw. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we vlogging this? He's in pain, man. Look at him smiling. He's loving it.
Hold your breath. Push down. Go. Push.
What are you smiling for?
Go, honey. Go. Oh, yeah.
He looks evil here. She's in so much pain and he's laughing. Wow. And because of this, they amassed over 18 million subscribers, which is absolutely mental, especially back then. Other notable moments they vlogged is Austin proposing to Catherine.
So it's trash. Don't cry, baby.
This is wild that they just film this. I guess they're like influencers, so that's what influencers do. But it's just wild to me that, like, I know obviously taking a photo, a lot of people take a photo when they propose, but it's not like your moment. It's like everyone's moment here, and I know it helps your careers and stuff, but it is just wild that some couples like video everything just to post on social media. And at this point, they were bigger than ever. Like, a lot of their videos would get over 40 million views each. However, one day everything switched and their downfall ever since has been mental. In the last few days, Catherine has went on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and that podcast already has 10 million views in like 6 days, and she basically exposes everything about Austin and their relationship. We're going to cover that entire podcast at the end of this video because it's absolutely mental. But before that, I just want to kind of talk you through the storyline of how they got to this point. After people started really examining the content of the Ace family, they discovered a few problematic things, such as there was like weird situations where they were being inappropriate with the children, such as giving a lollipop that looked like a willy to one of the kids. Like, just like little weird things like that. They've had various lawsuits against them. I believe their mansion was in foreclosure as well at one point. They tried to do festivals and it all failed, and a lot of drama came with that. And at the end of 2022, both Catherine and Austin actually took a step back from YouTube.
So the sad news is, which is today's title, how do you say this? This is the last year.
I'm like, you say it. Like, I don't want to say it.
This is the last year that the Ace family will be on YouTube.
What, you joking? Stop it! I haven't stocked up on tissues, man. It's the worst day of my life. What do you mean? God, you've got to be joking us. I love how dramatic big influencers are. Like, I know they had, like, you know, a lot of fans at this point, but they're like, I don't want to say it. You say it. No, you say it. Should I say it? I'll say it. I'll say it. Get back, woman. They instead moved to streaming on Kick. I believe Austin went into like influencer boxing, and they also like did updates of themselves on Snapchat. Now, when I found this out for the first time, I was definitely thinking they're just trying to kind of make money off this situation. You will often see a lot of influencers post on Snapchat now, and that's because you get paid basically per story, I believe. Like, if you're wondering why so many influencers have moved over to Snapchat, that is why. That's why like David Dobrik just totally quit YouTube and moved to Snapchat because the money's meant to be so good over there. And after a while of them quitting the channel and going on to do their own things, they actually stopped posting content together, which obviously got a lot of people talking because everybody knew them because of their relationship. People were obviously speculating that they had broke up. Catherine was posting Instagram photos with weird kind of captions. Set free. Oh. What you trying to tell her, guys? What you trying to tell her? Is she trying to say that she's been set free from the shackles of Austin? Is that what she's trying to say right now? I love how mysterious influencers are sometimes. This is such a mysterious post. Such a main character energy post from Catherine, bless her. She also posted another photo with the caption, "I am bound by nothing." Too right, queen. Too right. Right, slay love. Slay indeed. So obviously, like, seeing captions like this in the midst of all this speculation is going to fuel so many rumours. And to a degree, I often think that influencers do this to get people talking about them a lot more, rather than just coming out with it and just saying what's happening. However, both Catherine and Austin then actually made their own statements on social media. Catherine said, "As I start the new year, I will challenge myself in ways that I have never done before. 2024 will be my year of transformative change, and with this taking place, one of the steps in my journey is the difficult decision to leave my marriage." What? You're joking, aren't you? You've got to be joking, love. I love how dramatic this is. "We have mutually agreed to a divorce and will part amicably. Our paths as a couple have shifted and have created challenges that are irreconcilable." These are two big words for me. "This decision comes with a very heavy heart. As heartbreaking as this is, I also feel liberated. I've spent the past few years prioritizing my children and honoring my commitment to my family. All the while, I seem to be losing myself and my own personal happiness. Our main priority will be to stay united as parents and to continue creating a stable, happy and loving environment for our children." You can tell the vibe of this. Like, clearly she really wasn't happy in this, and it's almost like she was putting everyone else above herself, including her husband. Like, she was just neglecting how she feels. Austin also put out his statement. "For this new year, I will be taking a leap of faith. I've made the hardest decision of my life, the decision to close the book to my marriage." Why are they writing this as if they're leaving like a football team or something like that? Whose decision was it? What's going on here? Catherine said it's her decision, you're saying it's your decision. We're no further forward here. Obviously, this is a horrific situation because they've got children, and at the end of the day, they might be influencers, but they're real people and they would be really hurt during this. You're going to see later in this video why one person might be a lot more hurt than the other. But it is funny how influencers break up compared to just like people that aren't influencers. Like, influencers do huge statements about like the whole situation and make it like a storyline and really dramatic, whereas like everyone else just blocks, you know, the person and just tries to never like see them ever again, just kind of, you know, erase any trace of their presence on this earth. Now, their audience really kind of took Catherine's side during this without really knowing anything at all. As you can see here, the comments were like congratulating us. Like, she's like, you know, got out of this horrific thing. I believe Austin didn't get a lot of grace because he'd been in a lot of like, you know, alleged scams, and he'd kind of had a bad reputation with the public. Any dramas or controversies typically came from Austin's side when Catherine and Austin were together. Now, fast forward to 2025, obviously they're split up and Catherine is releasing a book. And in this book, she talks about her relationship with Austin and basically, you know, kind of exposes a lot of stuff that people wanted to know about their relationship. Of course you do, right? If you're going to reveal the information, put it in a book, man. Right, there you go. Get a little bit of that in the bank. Now, this is alleged, I need to say this, but apparently an extract of the book did get released. I haven't read the book or bought the book, but I'm going to read out the extract that did allegedly get released from it. Before I read it, the context is she basically is talking about a charity basketball game that was going on at the Staples Arena where Austin was taking part. Together, Austin and I were a dynamic duo. The secret sauce that made our YouTube channel so popular. The perfect blend that made it all happen. This is getting hot. And yet, strangely, the more I watched my husband work, the more I dismissed my own contributions. You're joking, love. As a woman with traditional family values, I put Austin on a pedestal. I made sure he knew he was seen and that his efforts were appreciated. But I didn't know if he saw me. He didn't see you. You saw him, but he didn't see us. Poetic. I had been feeling invisible for a while, a contradiction that wasn't lost on me, given that millions of people watched every move online. At the first huge sold-out event we'd organised, the Thirst Project, I'd been pregnant. Staying out of the spotlight made sense. But at this second fundraiser, for the Painted Turtle, I wasn't pregnant. I felt good. Strong, so I whacked him! No, she didn't. I'd poured myself into this event too. I wanted to be a part of it. And then came the locker room. A space of waiting, of anticipation, a moment that should have been small but wasn't. I turned to Austin. Do you want me to walk out with you? A simple question, but beneath it something deeper, a need to be chosen, to be wanted there, beside him, as his wife. By the way, I'm like fully into this. I might need to buy this book. She's wrote this so well. To be part of it in a way that wasn't just background support, wasn't just behind the scenes. To be the Ace family in more than just appearance. He shrugged and looked away. Only if you want to. A little bastard. Flat, casual, not yes, not I want you there, just a half-hearted comment, as it didn't matter either way. I stayed back, I let him step out into the arena alone. She then goes on to say, like, this isn't what love is, like, surely you both should be in the spotlight, like, it's not all just about one person, like, it's a team effort here, we're a family, we've built this together. She then goes on to say how Austin would show the crowd and everyone else, like their fans, like a lot more attention and not even look at her, and that just made her feel so small. She then goes on to reveal a huge bombshell which nobody knew prior. I found out Austin had been cheating on me. Not a suspicion, not a rumour. I mean, this is an alleged extract of it, but I mean, I'm bloody enthralled, I'll give her that. Whoever released this, I want the book of it. Proof. I realised then why he hadn't wanted to walk beside me. Why it had been so easy for him not to. He'd already broken his vows. He'd already been gone from me. Longer than I had known. A little, right? Fun doing with another woman, is he? The dirty git. Austin McBroom. More like Austin McToom. Because he's dead in my eyes. A close family member of his admitted to me that he'd invited a girl to that very Staples Centre event the same night I'd convinced myself I was being selfless for letting him have his moment. Wait, so that's like your family's thing and you've invited another... Sorry, that is wild. If that's true, that is wild. I'd seen her there, pretty, a hanger-on, standing just close enough to feel out of place, yet comfortable enough to belong. I had noticed her in the way you catch something that doesn't quite fit a puzzle piece jammed into the wrong spot. I'd even wondered who invited her. This is genuinely so poetic, the way she's wrote this. Now I knew it all made sense, the way he hadn't wanted me next to him. The shrug, the indifference, the way he treated me that night, as if I were a thorn in his side. It's the fact she was pregnant during this as well. Like, how wild is this? The way that, you know, he's allegedly treated her. Like, this is horrific. Like, imagine how you would feel. You would feel so small, insignificant. Like, she's literally brought two of his kids into the world, and this is how he's treating her. Like, this is just like a really, really horrific thing that she's been through. Like, especially because she loves him, which makes everything just so much more intense. And obviously, after this alleged extract from the book did get released, the fans of the Ace family, the old fans, were fuming about this. And obviously, after reading this, people went back to kind of have a look how they both reacted during the divorce, and people were questioning Austin.
It was a never toxic relationship. Nothing in our home was toxic. When we argued, it was really short, and then we got over it. But I will say, you know, it was really feeling like we were more best friends than actual husband and wife.
Yeah, I mean, inviting another girl to, you know, the joint family, you know, charity event, that'll probably do it. That'll probably ruin any, you know, sexual, you know, connection between the two. Just, it's something about, like, her being pregnant and you wanting to shag another woman. You know, something about that just doesn't, like, do it for, you know, your wife, I'm afraid.
And so that's what it was leaning towards. She was going one direction, I was going the other direction.
She was, like, going one direction, I was going the vamps. You know, we're just not really on the same kind of wavelength here.
So it was basically just, the ending was going to happen no matter what, basically, is how it
The ending was going to happen no matter what. And we felt the timing made sense. And we didn't want to drag our unhappiness out.
It's just interesting to watch this because this obviously came out before the alleged leaked extract of the book. Seeing someone possibly just lie like this on camera about such a serious thing is really, you know, like, I find it a little bit frightening. The fact that somebody can just put this information out there and try and, you know, allegedly manipulate everyone into thinking a certain way, like kind of downplaying the situation to an extent, if you know what I mean, just kind of like brushing it off as if, oh yeah, it's just a natural thing that happened, you know, we just kind of grew apart. Very, very scary that someone can kind of, you know, act this way and have like zero emotion about it as well. Now again, later in this video when we cover the podcast, everything gets revealed and this is going to make this clip seem even more wilder. Now obviously, because the way the internet is, they actually wanted to find out who the woman was that Austin was apparently having an affair with. They found somebody called Monica Bush who apparently was spotted at these events.
I'm in trouble, Austin. Does your wife know that you cheat on her every weekend? Does she know that you message every single girl on Instagram trying to get in their...
Anyway, so a couple months ago, I get a DM from him on Instagram, just asking me if he could send me stuff from his clothing brand, and I was like, of course, like, I knew who he was, like, I had never talked to a celebrity, like, I was pretty new to doing, like, collabs and stuff at the time, So I was like, oh my gosh, he really just messaged me. Like, I was just like stoked. So here was our conversation on Instagram. Afterwards. So we text, he asks me if I'm going to be in LA anytime soon, and I'm like, yeah, I can be in LA. We're texting a little bit throughout the day, like, you know, kind of like seeing what I'm like, I keep asking what the plans are later and like what exactly we're doing, and he kind of just keeps beating around the bush.
Why are you meeting up with this person behind your wife's back, you know, getting our contact details? It's just so weird, man. What was that voice? That's new. It's just very sneaky and snaky, you know?
But anyways, he picks me up in the blue Rolls Royce that everyone knows. So I'm like, okay, so it shouldn't be anything fishy. Like, he's not trying to be sneaky about it, whatever. And then where do we pull up? To a house in Malibu. And I was like, oh my God.
Bro, this is next level. This is just like, how could you do this? Also, like, another point, and I'm not trying to blame, you know, Monica here. You know him, so you clearly know that he has a wife. You know that he's built his entire success off his family. I'm not trying to blame her. I'm just saying, why would you want to sleep with someone who you know has a wife? And at the time, you know, they didn't seem to be split up at this point. I feel like if I was the single one and, you know, like a girl was messaging me in very, you know, a public relationship and it seemed fishy, I would, you know, like, I would message the lad being like, do you know about this? Why is she trying to take me to Malibu? Are you going to be there? Please say yes.
I'm still kind of oblivious, and I'm just like, okay, you know, maybe we're just talking business. Because in the car, we had just talked about, like, other brand deals he might get me and all these other things, and I'm, you know, I was just excited.
And again, that is quite manipulative. Like, I don't know if she has that big of a platform. She definitely doesn't have as big of a platform as what Austin does. The way that he's kind of saying these things like, I'll get you brand deals, I'll do this for you. It's all very like you know, it's just dodgy, and he's trying to like kind of use his platform as a way to, I guess, sleep with her.
So I knew it was like not completely business when he turned on Netflix and we were just watching Netflix on the couch, like just talking and stuff, and I'm just like, what the and then he like grabs a blanket and just like has a blanket on himself. At this point, we're like not close together at all, and he like, it tells me to like come over and like lay with him, and I'm just like, hey, look, like, I'm really trying to do business. That's what I thought this was.
This guy's a sleazy guy from what you've said, love. Like, it's all his fault. And he's wrong. He's like, this is, multiple people are saying this now. Austin clearly is, you know, a clever person. For the fact he's built the platform that he has to have some brains about him. Like, not only has he cheated, which is a horrific thing, like, with his platform, why would he even think about cheating? Like, he surely, you know that you're going to get found out, especially by people that also do social media. Like, they're going to post about it. Like, how would you not know this? The only way I can kind of think about it is he thought that he was, like, manipulative enough to convince her not to tell anyone. Like, he was so delusional that he thought he could just get away with this. I've got no idea. I can't wrap my head around this. I can't see this from his point of view. However, she wasn't actually the girl that Catherine was referencing in the book. Apparently, she came out and made a video herself saying this. Another woman has been referenced in being that person that Catherine was referring to. And a lot of people believe it could be this person because ever since, you know, this happened, she has limited her comments on her own TikToks. Now, this could be because she is that person, or it very well could be that she's getting a lot of hate, so she just kind of wants to, you know, limit them because it's not actually her. Either way, I don't really know. Doesn't necessarily mean she's guilty, but, you know, I guess it's just up for interpretation. It's just not a very nice situation in general. Now, whilst all this drama surrounding Catherine's book getting released and the information that comes with it getting exposed, Austin actually made a response to everything. It was a 33-minute Snapchat story, which again, I don't want to make the same point, but there's a reason that this bloke is doing it on Snapchat. Let's face it, he's trying to maximize the amount of revenue from this situation. Kind of toxic, trying to get his bag in, like it might be his final big bag, I have no idea. And just for context, this was a couple of hours after the alleged snippet from the book was released.
Blindsided because, as you guys know, and what you guys have seen for the past year and a half, Catherine and I have the best co-parenting situation that any parent can ever ask for. We actually have a better relationship now than we did when we were married.
I mean, yeah, that probably would make sense if, you know, the alleged stuff that you were doing was going on. I imagine you're probably a lot happier now not being together. You know, the small fact of you wanting to sleep with other women and, you know, her not being happy about that, probably going to get in the way of things of having a happy marriage, I imagine. Now, obviously, if he didn't know this was going on, he's going to feel blindsided in his own words, but it's his own doing. So surely, again, you would know this is going to come up one day. You're dealing with influencers here. Everything is documented online. online. Your entire life was documented online. So why wouldn't Catherine come forward with this situation that has greatly affected her? I don't feel like you have the right to kind of take the victim card here.
Not once did she ever come to me and talk to me about this book. Yes, I was aware she was writing this book. She did not tell the full truth, which is why I'm here today to tell you guys the full truth and to tell you guys what really happened.
Oh, God, man. We know the truth. Okay. I feel like we've got a good picture of the truth. I know with every situation, every story has two sides. I know that. But on this side, it just seems so clear what's going on here. And we've got other people who aren't associated with the family, like cohabitating, what's the word? You know, like basically adding truth to the story.
I take full accountability. If I can go back and change it, I would. And I'm sorry for that. I truly am.
This is wild to sort out over the internet, isn't it? Like, this is just a wild situation to sort out in private. Doing this online just makes everything so much harder. Again, the people who I feel sorry for, and I've said this point in various videos when we're talking about family channels, is always the children. Because one day they're going to grow up and they're going to, you know, when they're in their room by themselves and they're just, you know, on TikTok, they're going to go through all this and they're going to see their parents arguing online, and everyone else knows that their parents argue online, and people at school are it's always the kids who suffer. Like, yes, the mum and the dad are suffering, you know, an emotional trauma right now, but it's the kids who suffer for you know, their entire life. They don't deserve to be exposed to this kind of thing about them, like such personal information about their family. It's just kind of setting them up to get teased when they get older.
But when it comes to her acting like she had no idea what was going on, that is a complete lie. Catherine knew what I was dealing with for a very long time. I would come to her and I would voice how I feel about how I felt like I was getting no affection from her. There was a year period where we had no sex, and she said, just don't make me look dumb. Don't embarrass me. I don't know what that means to you guys, but to me it sounds like, go do whatever you need to do, because I'm not capable of giving you what you need.
Wait, is that him basically kind of inferring that his wife was giving him permission to cheat there? I didn't take that. I know I'm not emotionally involved in the situation, you know, and, you know, I don't know the full picture here, but from that one statement, I wouldn't take that. I would take from that, like, please just stop hurting me. Just don't embarrass me. Don't, like, you know, sleep with other women and have the whole world find out about. Like, this is what I would take from that. I wouldn't take this as permission to go and sleep with. Is that what he's saying there? I imagine from her point of view, she's probably, you know, trying to figure stuff out in her head, because it's not just about you two, it's about the kids, it's about everyone online. She's probably just, like, trying to bide some time to kind of figure out the best way to kind of break up at this point. And any stories that come out about you sleeping with other women is not going to help this. And also, like, the tone of what you were speaking there was like he expects, you know, that, you know, to sleep with his wife, which obviously, you know, you want to have like a positive relationship with that in your relationship, of course, but it's like he expects, I don't know if like any time he wants for it to just happen. Like, maybe is there a reason why she doesn't want to sleep with you? Like, is it because of your behavior? Is it because you cheated on her? Like, stuff like this. I don't know if he's considering, he's just kind of thinking about himself and not seeing it from her point of view. Again, we don't have the full picture of everything that went on in this relationship. I'm just going off what I'm seeing here. Catherine herself then did a response to Austin doing this 33-minute Snapchat story.
To be honest, I was expecting it. I've been expecting that kind of reaction for many years, which is why it took me so long to put this out. I think that I was like preparing myself and gaining strength to tell my story and to share it with you guys.
Interesting, like, conversation just for you in the comments. Like, let me know how you feel about Catherine releasing this book. Do you think it was the right decision? Like, obviously she's, you know, entitled to tell her own story. I can see why she's done it, but also the point I made previous about just, like, you know, the children, and when they grow older and seeing all this online and knowing the drama that would come because of this, just interesting for you to just let us know what you think, because I want as many opinions as possible to read through. It's a very difficult one. I think it's layered, and I don't think one person is right and one person person is wrong with their opinion on this. Now, moving forward to this very week, the biggest, I guess, development, I don't want, to call it that, but I guess it is, in this entire situation is Catherine went on the Call Her Daddy podcast to talk about a new book and basically tell all about her relationship with Austin. And already in 6 days, this podcast has over 10 million views. Like, that is absolutely mental for a podcast. Clearly, people are so, interested in what has gone on here. Now, obviously, I'm not going to react to every individual thing in this podcast, otherwise I'll have you until next week here. But I have picked out a few things of note. Obviously, people are going to question, why did she stay in this relationship when she knew all of this was going on? I was kind of thinking that as well, and she basically says that when she was younger, she watched her parents break up, and obviously that's got, going to have such a detrimental effect on you and make you feel really sad, and she didn't want to kind of have her own kids go through that, which, she's just trying to put her kids first in this situation. She also talks about the repercussions of, filming her children. At the time when she first started, she didn't, kind of think about the negative side that comes with it, but now they were in it and they were making so much money, it was almost too late to stop. Which again, I've got very negative opinions on family channels where the children are, a huge part of it, because I just think they're not of age to consent, that should be their own decision when they're old enough to decide whether they want to be on camera or not, or at least be in the main focus of being on camera. And I often think with these family channels, because they're making so much money and because they're, kind of getting validated because of the fame aspect of it, they almost kind of brush to the side the negative things. At one point in this podcast, Catherine admits that they were making 6 figures a month, which, is going to transform your life. And in a way, it's kind of easy to justify that, okay, yeah, negatives come with this, but I'm actually creating a much better life for my kids. I don't agree with that viewpoint, but I can, that's how people justify it, I guess. I'm just trying to kind of make this balanced and not try and, attack anyone here. And because they were making so much money, apparently Austin's spending was just out of control. He would spend 6 figures a month without telling Catherine, which obviously is gonna, drive a wedge between the both of you. And like I mentioned previously in this video at the start, they did in fact lose their house, and then Catherine starts to talk about the cheating. She says that a lot of the time in their relationship, people would come to her lying, saying that oh yeah, I've slept with Austin, but apparently it wasn't true. So when the true allegations came, she kind of just brushed them to the side as if they were just more lies. She does talk about the first time she knew for definite that Austin was cheating, and this is when her second daughter was 6 months old and Austin was in Miami.
He called me quite a few times where I felt like, you're calling me a little too much. I was just I don't know, it's okay, go have fun, you know? And he pocket dialed me accidentally, and I heard women in the back. There were a couple women, and I thought, okay, well, I guess my husband's hanging out with women.
It's almost like this guy, I'm not trying to be mean here, but it's just he just doesn't think. I don't understand how, he's contributed to creating such a big platform with Catherine. Yeah, the guy just doesn't think. It makes me think, was Catherine responsible for all of the success here? How has this man managed to get to this place in life? And apparently one of these women was the person he slept with. Apparently there was this makeup artist that made a video about Austin cheating at the time, which just confirms the rumors. And she also found this out when she was pregnant with her 3rd child. So already that's a really tough thing to go through, just the pregnancy, and then you're finding this out about the baby daddy, your partner, the person you're creating this life with. I can't imagine how that would feel. It would just be soul destroying, especially when it's basically confirmed and it's not just just allegations that are just have no weight to them. However, at this point, she still wanted to fix things, I imagine, because like she mentioned at the start of the podcast, she didn't want to put her kids through a divorce. She does talk about one moment where her daughter was getting a haircut, her first haircut, I believe, and her phone had died and she really wanted to take a photo. So she got Austin's phone, and apparently when she was on it, a girl messaged him, the notification came up. This guy is just wild. He literally is just cheating, and he's almost wanted to be found out.
Oh my gosh, taking the photo, and then a movie, my phone dies. It just goes black. And I look at him without a thought, and I go, give me your phone. Let me take a photo, because, we're going to miss the moment. She's getting her first haircut. As soon as my hand grabs that phone, mind you, I had never looked in his phone. Ever. Never. I grabbed the phone, and it felt kind of weird because I'm holding his phone, right?
No.
Out of a movie, this long text comes through. If you really love your wife, you wouldn't be da-da-da-da-da. And
this is almost fake because of how movie-like it is. I don't know if I believe in actual fate or just karma, But the fact her phone died and then this message came when she, like, that's so, you know, it's almost like the universe is trying to help you out here. It's like, love, we're really doing everything here. We're trying to tell you without telling you. Can you imagine that feeling? Like, she's saying it in so detail as well, which makes me think, you know, this have got to have happened. You know, like, this is too fake to make up. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were making this up, you'd be like, oh yeah, this is too far-fetched. I just feel so sorry for her. I know getting cheated on is, like, worse in every scenario, but the fact it's an emotional one as well just would kick it even harder. Like, you know, if they just slept with someone, you know, I'm not saying you can work it out, but it's just not as deep as, like, they've slept with them a couple of times, they've got a bond, you know, it's just rough. And at this point, Austin actually does admit to Catherine that he is cheating, and Catherine again is still thinking, can we work this out? However, she did feel like Austin wasn't ever apologetic for cheating. He was just kind of saying it just to, I guess, save grace, you know what I mean? Just kind of just getting our good books again. She then addresses the statement that Austin said in his Snapchat story, where he basically said Catherine was allowing us to cheat.
But the one thing he said that really just, like, it was like a punch to the gut, was that he said that yes, I cheated and she was okay with it as long as he said, as long as I said you don't embarrass me. And that is not true. I never ever said that. I would never say that. And I would never want my kids to think that that is okay to cheat on your husband or your wife, and I will make sure that I raise them and that they know that they never ever do that, because that is so wrong.
This is really deep. Even when he said that, I was like, she definitely didn't say that, and if she said that, she didn't mean, like, it wasn't permission for you to cheat. Like, I just can't imagine someone saying that. And you can tell, like, she's getting emotional here, and, like, the fact that he would come online and say that, like, it's and with zero empathy as well, you know, like, the way he said it was so cold. Like, you can see this is a woman who's clearly really upset with this entire thing going down, and I almost feel like she's been manipulated in this relationship to kind of feel like she was the bad guy, or she was the person that was in the wrong, and he was just like, you know, he's just trying to work this out. And this is just her, like, outpour of, like, emotion, her finally getting to tell her side of the story. Obviously, again, releasing a book, that does help, but I really do feel like she has been sincere in this interview. Austin said in his Snapchat story that, you know, they weren't sleeping together, that hadn't slept together for a year. And obviously, I said possibly why this might be from Catherine's point of view, and she actually brings it up on the podcast and talks about it. She says she was going through a lot, obviously, like everything, you know, the rumours, having 3 children. Of course, you're not going to be in, like, a mindset to want to sleep with this person when you're doing everything and they're out, you know. It just doesn't make sense. She does take responsibility herself, though.
Hey, maybe we should go see a therapist. Like, maybe we should do couples therapy. Maybe, like, this isn't normal going, like, another year without being physically intimate. It is such an important part of a marriage and a relationship.
She then talks about the exact moment that she knew the marriage was over. It was a conversation before one of Austin's boxing matches, I believe, and she told him that she wasn't happy in the relationship. And apparently he was really mad that she'd said this right before his fight, which I do get to an extent, because, you know, this is obviously going to be, you know, played on your mind before. However, like, it's your fault. Like, don't cheat. And then, you know, like, you didn't consider her feelings. Now, you know, she's clearly thinking about herself now. Whether that was right or wrong to tell you before boxing match, that's another matter, but she's now putting herself first. She then went away on a retreat, and after she came back, she officially ended things. I wonder if she just kind of got that clarity when she was away. She then says that she wanted to do, like, a joint post just announcing the breakup, but Austin wanted to do a video. Obviously, you know, like, this guy is, like, prizes money and fame over everything. Then apparently, like, he made the video and she wasn't happy with it, and then he recorded her saying she wasn't happy too. Just really weird stuff from his side. I think he was kind of losing his mind at this point. Austin at this point secretly recorded Catherine saying she wasn't happy with the video, and Catherine believed it was because, like, he wanted to use it at a later date, and he actually did use it in his Snapchat response.
Like, say what you said in your video. I just think your video would have been, you would have had a lot of backlash.
This is not the slay he thinks it is, because he's recorded her without her permission. So automatically, you know, this is, like, off the cards now. Like, you've done this, like, in a really bad way. Like, you haven't asked for permission to record her. You've done this so you can use it at a later date to make yourself look better, which automatically just it puts such a sour taste in people's mouths. If she knew this was being recorded, then fair play, you can kind of use it, but, like, automatically I'm already feeling the way about this clip. Obviously we didn't know this at the time of him uploading it, so he had the kind of grace of people not knowing it. But now we know it looks so wild. Austin now has a new partner, and Catherine says that she really likes her, and apparently their kids really like her too, and that's always a nice thing. You know, when parents split, it's never nice when one person's just totally dragging the other person all of the time, even, you know, just in public. Like, obviously behind the scenes you're gonna feel a certain way, but just like putting the kids first, it's never really nice to see that. So it's nice that Catherine is just trying to create more positivity, I guess, just to end this podcast on, because at the end of the day, in this entire situation, yes, it's horrible for the mom and the dad, but it's the kids that you really need to put first here. And I'm glad that at the end of this podcast, finally the kids are kind of getting, you know, being the main focus. And yeah, basically the podcast ends at this point, and I believe it, like, Catherine was really well received after this. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on the entire situation. This video did take a lot of research from start to finish, so I do hope you appreciate my coverage of it. And if you want to watch another video from me, click this video right here, donuts. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this. It's definitely a different video from us, but I just find it really interesting. So yeah, thank you very much.
Kirkham, baby.